The best looking iPhones in a while.
Holding a piece of future tech.
A ridiculously thin iPhone.
Minimalistic, futuristic look.
Welcome back to Re-Review, where we watch all the reviews so you don't have to. Today we're talking about a phone that has everyone talking, the iPhone Air. Apple pushed way towards form over function, but first, let's cover the basics of this new design.
It's Apple's thinnest iPhone ever at 5.6 millimeters. It has a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR display with ProMotion.
I also can't get over the thin grade 5 titanium build. It feels so premium and you need to hold it in person to truly appreciate it.
Apple conveniently ignores the camera bump when they're talking about thinness. With the Air, it actually extends and protrudes out across the entire top of the phone here. And it is not a camera bump. Apple calls it the plateau. All of the main components, the chip, the modem, wireless radios, even the Face ID module, live up here in the plateau. That then frees up the rest of the body for the biggest possible battery that Apple could fit in here.
This design approach leads to some very strong and very different impressions.
Because this is made from titanium and you have the glossy sort of titanium frame that goes around it, it feels more like a piece of jewelry. I'd go as far to say that this is the best looking iPhone that Apple have ever made.
The whole outside frame is shiny titanium, which picks up a ton of fingerprints, but also is remarkably durable.
Smudges and fingerprints are absolutely crazy on the space black right here. Oddly enough, on the normal 17, it's not. I think the difference might be the glass back here. They also do feel different when I touch them. This has more of a matte finish versus this one, kind of my finger sticks a little bit more when I touch it.
The design might be new, but how does it perform? Let's start with the screen.
The displays on all the new iPhones, except for the size, is exactly the same. They all have the ProMotion 1 to 120 Hz. They all have the same 3000 nits of peak brightness. They also all get Apple's new Ceramic Shield 2 glass on the front, which is not only more scratch resistant, we have an anti-reflective layer.
So you can actually turn off pulse width modulation on these phones. So for those of you who have been waiting because that bothers your eyes, gives you headaches, that's something to note.
And under the hood, it's packing some serious power, but with a catch.
Apple has given the Air the new A19 Pro chip, though not the exact same one as in the 17 Pro. Both have a 6-core CPU, but the Air has a 5-core GPU instead of 6. And it also misses out on the Pro's new vapor chamber cooling.
And when you look at sustained performance between an Air and a Pro, it is obvious that the Pro is just built to be pushed for a long time with performance in mind. The Air is not. So if you crank the iPhone Air, you will have to deal with heat and performance throttling.
The Air reminds me of the 15 and 16. It's got titanium, it gets pretty hot, and when it does get hot, it feels very sluggish at times. Like it's struggling pretty hard. So it needs a minute to chill out, and then the software and the performance starts to kick back in.
The camera system is where the biggest compromises are felt. Let's start with a revolutionary front camera.
This is Apple's new square selfie camera, and it's a really big deal. And also importantly, all the new iPhones get exactly the same selfie. They've bumped up the resolution from 12 to 18 megapixels, they've roughly doubled the sensor size, so image quality is noticeably better. The headline is that we have a new 1x1, so square sensor, rather than the traditional 4x3. So you no longer need to turn the phone from vertical to horizontal to take a landscape selfie.
You can now switch between vertical and horizontal shots while still holding the phone normally.
This is huge because your eyes stay leveled with the camera, so it looks a lot more natural when you're talking.
But when you flip the phone around, it's a very different story.
So the Air doesn't have an ultra wide, and I can't tell you how many times I went to go take a picture or something and then realized I can't switch to the ultra wide. And there's also obviously no zoom as well.
The other big difference, which I don't think a lot of people realize and have mistaken, is that they think that the main camera on the Air is the same as the main camera on the Pro. That is not the case. The Air uses the same camera as the 17. The sensor sizes are different. The Pro has a bigger sensor than the Air.
Something I found super confusing is Apple calling the 2x zoom optical quality, but be careful guys, it's not truly optical. It's actually a 12 megapixel digital crop from the center of the sensor, which Apple marketing calls optical quality.
We'd have to move things around, move ourselves around a little further back than we would have liked, where we would have opted for maybe a different lens for the shot. This camera system is not one that I would want to take to a concert or my kid's recital, especially where zoom is important.
The compromises don't stop with the camera. The ultra-thin design forced Apple to make some notable cuts.
This has a single speaker, and it's been 8 years since I reviewed a phone with a single speaker. You get mono sound that comes at the top in portrait mode, but then in landscape mode, you get mono sound that comes out on one side alone. Every time I would watch a show or play a game and just use these speakers, I'd be like, these actually suck.
And there are a few more things you're giving up.
But then the USB-C port at the bottom of the Air is only USB 2 transfer speeds. So that's just dumb.
Looking around, something that you're not going to find on here is a SIM slot. With the Air though, it is eSIM worldwide. Another way that Apple has saved space for the biggest possible battery.
So with a phone this thin, it must be fragile, right? Well,
it turns out the iPhone Air is not just a survivor of the famous jerry-rig everything bend test. It's literally one of the most impressively durable smartphones of all time. I'm not exaggerating, it's kind of ridiculous.
I was handed a testing device, which is like a metal brick with sensors in it to measure bending force, and I was told to bend it as hard as I could. I watched a machine like this one apply the same bending force to an iPhone Air. I watched as the phone bent dramatically. But as soon as the pressure eased up, the enclosure popped back into place, and the phone was perfectly flat again. It was seriously impressive.
I actually think that this phone is even more durable than the 17 Pro, which is a wild statement.
Okay, so it's surprisingly tough. But the biggest question for a phone this thin is always battery life.
If you're using it for regular stuff, I think it's a comfortable full day. If you play games, you're gonna have to charge this thing halfway through the day. It's built for a very light to moderate load for a full day.
And after 8 hours, I still had more than 30% left in the tank. Again, with no MagSafe battery needed. Unless you're trying to kill this thing before sundown, it'll probably surprise you with its hang time.
It'll last me throughout the workday, but by the time I get home, I absolutely need to throw it on the charger. If you do anything a lot on the phone, you will find yourself charging more midday than end of day.
There is the battery pack that you can get from Apple. It's a same size pack inside the MagSafe pack as the one that's inside the phone itself. A full MagSafe pack gives about 65% charge to the phone because wireless charging is inefficient and you lose some of it to heat. But even though it does fit nicely, it is unfortunate that you have like this thin phone that becomes like a normal sized thick phone.
So after all that, what's the verdict? The iPhone Air starts at $999. Is it worth it?
The iPhone Air is gorgeous. It's lightweight and it's fun to use, but it's also compromised. The iPhone 17, meanwhile, is balanced, practical, and delivers the features that matter most for the price. If you're planning to keep your phone for years, I'd recommend the iPhone 17 9 times out of 10.
Are you a user who values the look of your phone a little bit more of a fashion piece? Get the Air. You'll be happier. If you value, though, function over form, I would say get the iPhone 17 Pro Max.
Someone said to me the other day, I don't want the boring one and I don't need a Pro. That's the audience for this. People who do care about the looks of it, who do want something different and unique from Apple.
Yes, the Pro is a fantastic tool, but it doesn't provide joy or excitement. And even though with the iPhone Air, that excitement might wear off, I want to see where this journey takes me.
So there you have it. The consensus on the iPhone Air is surprisingly clear. This is not the phone you buy with your head, it's a phone you buy with your heart. For the practical buyer looking for the best all-around value and longevity, the standard iPhone 17 is a smarter choice. For the power users who needs the best camera, performance and battery life, the Pro models are obvious answer. But the iPhone Air exists for a different user entirely. It's for the person who values design, portability and a shared novelty for a futuristic feeling device above all else. It's for those who want the largest screen without the bulk of a Pro Max model, and those who are willing to live with the compromises like a single rear camera, weaker speakers and a battery that will get you through the day, but not much more. If you're a light to moderate user and rarely use zoom or ultra-wide photos, and are captivated by the idea of an impossibly thin and light phone, you're going to love it. But if any of its trade-offs give you pause now, that feeling will only grow over time, long after the novelty has worn off. That's it for the ultimate roundup review of the iPhone Air. Please find full videos down below and come back for more re-reviews where we watch older reviews so you don't have to.